Disclaimer: this content is only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. The air was still, warm with the fading touch of a late afternoon. Somewhere between the calm hum of the ceiling fan and the gentle splash of water from the shower, she stood quietly in front of the mirror, her delicate fingers wrapping her wet blonde hair into a towel. Her skin still glistened with moisture, glowing softly under the bathroom light. She didn't hear the door open. He was always quiet like that, especially when he was in one of those playful moods. Her name was Elina, a white Russian woman who had moved to the States after marrying Ryan, an American man whose charm was hidden beneath layers of quiet strength. Their love story wasn't the kind found in fairy tales, it was the kind shaped through laughter, understanding, long walks after dinner, and whispered arguments in the middle of the night. A husband-wife relationship like theirs wasn't perfect, but it was real, full of soft chaos and deep, comforting love. As Elina adjusted the towel on her head, she felt a familiar presence behind her. She froze for a second, her heart skipping, not out of fear, but because she knew it was him. Ryan. He didn't say a word. He never did at first. He just stood there, close enough that she could feel the warmth of his breath on her damp shoulder. A tiny smirk played on her lips, even as her eyes avoided the mirror. She waited, knowing he'd do something small, teasing, that only he knew how to do. Their relationship had always been full of these quiet, loving games. It was their language. No loud declarations, just gentle moments that pulled them closer. Ryan had a way of turning the most mundane moments into something unforgettable. And today was no different. But this time, there was something in his silence that felt different. Was it deeper affection, or something unsaid lingering in the air? She turned her head slightly, still not looking back. "You're here," she whispered, half statement, half question. There was no answer. Only the sound of his hands reaching forward, not to touch, but to gently gather the edge of the towel, slowly, almost ceremoniously. Elina's breath caught in her throat. Her fingers tensed slightly against the sink. This wasn't just a flirtatious moment. It was something more. Something was coming, and neither of them had said a word yet. But before she could speak, before he could even reveal what was truly on his mind, the door creaked slightly. A sound that didn't belong. They both froze. What had started as a tender moment had suddenly shifted. Could it be someone else? Or had Ryan planned something Elina wasn't ready for? What do you think happened next? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was it a surprise from Ryan, or something completely unexpected? Vote in the poll and tell us, was it a romantic twist or a hidden truth? Elina didn't move. Her eyes stayed on the mirror, wide and searching, trying to read Ryan's face through the faint reflection. But he was standing just off to the side, as if on purpose, just out of clear view. She could still feel him there, but now, the air between them felt heavier, filled with a quiet tension that neither of them wanted to break too quickly. She slowly turned her head, this time more deliberately, but Ryan was already one step ahead. He reached out gently and touched her shoulder. His hand was warm, steady, but she could tell something was off. Maybe it was in the way he didn't say anything. Or maybe in the way his touch lingered a little too long, like he was unsure whether to hold her or let go. They had shared 6 years together, 2 in Moscow, 4 in the States. Their life was built from scratch, filled with long drives, mismatched dinner plates, spontaneous weekend getaways, and quiet evenings with music in the background. Ryan loved old records, and Elina often caught him swaying slightly in the kitchen when he thought no one was watching. He'd always been the steady one, the one who could ground her storm. But lately, something had shifted. The silence between them stretched longer than usual, and Elina finally asked, almost in a whisper, "You okay?" Ryan didn't answer right away. He stepped back just slightly, just enough to break the physical closeness they shared a moment ago. His eyes finally met hers in the mirror, and there was something different in them, something distant. "I've been thinking," he said slowly, his voice low, like he was choosing every word with care. About us. About what we've become. Elina's heart skipped. The words weren't sharp, but they weren't soft either. They hovered in the space between fear and curiosity. She bit her lip, trying to keep herself grounded. "Are you not happy?" she asked. He didn't nod. He didn't shake his head either. That scared her more than anything else. Behind her, the towel on her hair had loosened slightly. One strand of damp blonde hair slipped down the side of her face, but she didn't move to fix it. Her body was still, waiting. What was Ryan really thinking? What did he mean by, what we've become? Before she could ask again, his phone buzzed from the bedroom. He looked toward it, but didn't move. Who had messaged him? And why did he look like he already knew? Tell us in the comments, do you think Ryan is hiding something, or is he just scared to say what's in his heart? Elina stood still, her heart beating faster than she wanted to admit. That buzzing sound, just a few seconds long, felt like it lasted forever. Ryan's eyes had shifted, just briefly, but that was all it took. Something was on that phone. Something important. But he didn't move to pick it up. That silence said more than any explanation ever could. She slowly turned to face him, her voice low but steady. "Is there something you're not telling me?" Ryan looked at her, the corners of his mouth twitching like he wanted to speak, but again, he stayed quiet. Instead, he took a step forward and brushed the fallen strand of hair from her cheek. It was a tender gesture, but one that didn't match the emotion in his eyes. Elina felt it. The way his touch was soft, but his gaze seemed distant. Like he was right there, but already somewhere else. Their relationship had always been layered. They met at a language cafe in Moscow, he was there on a business trip, and she was a part-time translator. Their connection had been instant. Playful, curious, and slowly magnetic. What began as light conversations over coffee turned into long-distance calls, visa applications, and finally, marriage. They had shared so much, her move to the US, the struggles of adapting, her homesickness, his work stress, but they always came back to each other. Until recently. Lately, Ryan had been getting home later. He had started locking his phone. And Elina, though she never said anything, had felt the shift. It wasn't dramatic. But it was there, in the silences, in the pauses, in how they stopped holding hands during movies. It was like they were still walking side by side but not in rhythm anymore. He finally spoke. "There's a project at work. It's intense. I've been under pressure." Elina studied his face. That wasn't a lie. But it wasn't the full truth either. "Then why do you feel far from me?" she asked gently. Ryan sighed, his hand falling to his side. "Because I don't know how to talk about it. About us. About what's changed." Elina took a breath, her emotions welling just beneath the surface. She wanted to ask if there was someone else. But she didn't. Not yet. The phone buzzed again. This time, Elina's eyes didn't leave Ryan's. "You're not going to check that?" He looked at her for a moment, then slowly shook his head. "Not now." But the look on his face betrayed him. He was torn. Between staying in this moment, and whatever was waiting on the screen. Outside, the wind picked up, and a faint roll of thunder echoed through the air. The storm building outside mirrored the one brewing quietly between them. "What do you think? Is Ryan really just stressed from work, or is there more behind his silence? Should Elina check the phone herself or wait for him to open up? Comment your thoughts. What would you do in her place?" Elina took a slow breath, her chest rising and falling as she stepped back from Ryan, just enough to put space between them. Her eyes were still locked on his, trying to read everything he wasn't saying. The phone buzzed again. This time, longer, like a call. Neither of them moved. The sound cut through the silence like a sharp edge, then faded into nothing. But the tension it left behind didn't. "I don't need to check it," Ryan said softly, barely above a whisper. "It's nothing important." But his words felt too easy. Too rehearsed. Elina crossed her arms, not in anger, but out of self-protection. "Then why are you avoiding it? Why do I feel like you're not here anymore, even when you're standing right in front of me?" Ryan didn't answer. His gaze dropped to the floor, and for the first time, Elina saw something that scared her more than anything else. Guilt. It was subtle, but it was there. In the way his shoulders dropped. In the way his hands tightened, then loosened, like he didn't know what to do with them. Everything in her body told her something was coming. Something big. But she wasn't sure if she was ready to hear it. And yet, a part of her already knew. A sudden clap of thunder made the walls tremble slightly. The storm outside had grown, and a flicker of lightning lit up the bathroom for a second. The brief flash made their reflections in the mirror appear almost ghostly, two people who used to know each other, now staring through fog. Elina turned toward the bedroom, her feet moving on instinct. She walked slowly to the edge of the bed where Ryan's phone rested on the dresser, still glowing. Her fingers hovered above it, her heart pounding. She didn't touch it. Not yet. Behind her, Ryan's voice came low and tight. "Elina, please don't." She didn't look back. "Why? What are you afraid I'll see?" The silence that followed was the loudest sound in the room. "Do you think Elina should check the phone, or wait for Ryan to finally tell the truth? What do you think he's hiding? Comment below, is it just a misunderstanding, or is the truth deeper than we think?" Elina stood frozen, her hand just inches from the phone screen, the glow casting a pale light on her fingertips. Her breath was slow but shallow, each second stretching out longer than the last. Behind her, Ryan hadn't moved. It was like he knew that whatever happened next, something would break. Maybe it already had. The screen dimmed and then lit up again. A message this time. "I didn't expect last night to mean so much. Please talk to me." The sender's name was saved under a single letter, M. Elina's body stiffened. She didn't touch the phone, she didn't need to. The words burned in her eyes, and the chill that swept over her skin had nothing to do with the storm outside. She slowly turned around. Ryan was still by the doorway, eyes fixed on her. He had seen it too. She spoke quietly, almost trembling. "Last night?" He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Elina laughed, not out of humor, but disbelief. "So it is someone else?" "No," Ryan said quickly, stepping forward. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is," she whispered, her voice breaking just slightly. "Because that," she gestured toward the phone, "doesn't look like nothing." Ryan ran a hand through his hair, looking like he was trying to put his thoughts together faster than his heart could handle. "Mira. She's from the project. We had drinks after a meeting, I was upset, it wasn't planned. I didn't mean for anything to happen." Elina's throat tightened. "But something did happen?" He looked at her, and that was answer enough. She stepped back, but her feet didn't feel steady. The room felt like it was spinning, the walls closing in. Everything she had tried to ignore the past few weeks, the distance, the silence, the late nights, it all made sense now. She wanted to scream, cry, maybe run, but her voice was calm when she spoke. "Why didn't you just tell me? I didn't want to lose you." The irony hit hard. "But you did this, and you didn't stop." "I did," Ryan said, desperate now. "I ended it." That message, she doesn't accept that it's over. But Elina wasn't sure what to believe anymore. The man in front of her was the same one she had built a life with, but suddenly he felt like a stranger. The towel on her head had come loose completely, strands of her blonde hair falling freely over her shoulders. She didn't bother fixing it. A loud knock at the front door made them both freeze. Ryan's eyes widened. Elina turned toward the hallway slowly, her mind racing. Could it be her? Or was it someone else entirely? Comment your theory. Who do you think is at the door? Is it Mira, or someone with an even bigger secret? The knock came again, firmer this time. Elina and Ryan exchanged a brief glance, both frozen in the space between truth and panic. Neither of them moved. The air felt charged, and not just from the storm outside. The tension between them had been building for days, maybe even months, and now everything was cracking open in one single evening. "I'll get it," Ryan said, his voice low and uncertain. Elina stayed where she was, arms crossed, chest rising and falling with emotion she could no longer hide. Ryan walked slowly toward the front door, every step like a countdown. As he opened it, Elina held her breath, half expecting to see her, Mira, the woman behind the message, the final wedge between them. But it wasn't her. Standing in the doorway was a tall, older man in a dark coat, rain dripping from his sleeves. His face was tense, tired. He looked directly at Ryan and asked, "Is Elina here?" Ryan turned, confused. "Yes." "Who are you?" The man didn't answer him. Instead, his eyes searched past Ryan and found Elina standing in the hallway. Her mouth fell open. She stepped forward slowly, the storm suddenly quiet in her ears. "Papa," she whispered, barely believing it. Her father. The man she hadn't seen in almost 7 years. The man who had refused to accept her move to America, who had cut off contact when she married Ryan. And now he was standing at her door, in the middle of the storm, as if fate had chosen this exact moment to bring the past crashing into the present. "I came because I heard," her father said softly, his accent thick, but voice shaken. "I was wrong to stay away." Elina's eyes welled with tears. She wasn't sure if it was from anger, relief, or the chaos of the night finally breaking her. Ryan stepped back quietly, watching the moment unfold with a mixture of guilt and uncertainty. The final twist was not the betrayal. It was the timing. Her father's return, unannounced, right when her marriage was on the verge of collapse. Suddenly, Elina wasn't just facing a broken relationship, she was being asked to rebuild something deeper, something she had buried long ago. Comment below, what do you think Elina should do now, with Ryan, and with the father who walked away but came back too late? Can one broken heart forgive another? Elina stood in the hallway, the storm outside slowly calming as the air inside her home remained heavy with everything unsaid. Her father stepped forward, hesitant, his eyes never leaving hers. Years of silence stretched between them like a rope worn thin. Ryan, quiet and respectful, moved aside to let him in. The man she had once turned away from, and who had once turned away from her, was now standing only feet away, unexpectedly present at the most fragile moment in her life. They sat down at the edge of the couch, and Ryan took a chair nearby, silently giving space but unable to walk away completely. Elina's voice trembled slightly. "Why now?" Her father looked down for a long moment before speaking. "Because I lost too much, and I realized I might lose you forever too. I was proud, Elina. Foolish. I couldn't accept the life you chose. But I see now, love is never about control." His words, though imperfect, sank into her chest. She had waited years to hear something like that, and yet, tonight, those words landed in a heart already bruised by Ryan's betrayal. Her world, which once felt steady, now felt like shifting sand beneath her feet. Ryan leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "Elina. I don't expect forgiveness. What I did, I can't take back. But I'm not walking away. Not unless you tell me to." Her eyes moved between the two men, the man who gave her life, and the one she had chosen to build it with. And then, slowly, she exhaled. Maybe this is life's way of breaking me open so I can put myself back together, the way I want. There was no dramatic goodbye, no instant forgiveness. Instead, there was an understanding. That healing takes time. That love, even broken, doesn't always mean the end. Her father stayed for tea that night. Ryan slept on the couch. In the morning, no decisions were made, but something had shifted. Not closure, but clarity. Sometimes, the real strength in love is pausing long enough to breathe before choosing what comes next. How did this ending make you feel? Would you give Ryan a second chance, or close that chapter? Should Elina explore her roots now that her father has returned? Tell us in the comments, and let us know if you'd love to see a sequel to this emotional journey.